Are you wearing sweatpants when you're relaxing, watching TV?
Oh no, much easier than that. I just pop on shorts and a shirt almost through this whole coronavirus. It's kind of nice. Pop on shorts, shirts. Don't even shower a lot of days. I do for the show.
Brad Blanks, and I have on the Zoom, I've zoomed into the room, the house of Steve Wozniak. Woz, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. This is sort of my computer office, with a computer here. So you're not really seeing like a full house or anything. Just got maybe my turntable and speakers behind me, and computer in front.
Is this where the magic of your mind happens, in this room?
No, this is where I'm just kind of like constantly just trying to keep up with everything going on with news feeds and email from people and little joke lists and things like that. So actually life doesn't change that much with the coronavirus lockdowns.
Celebrity watch party on Fox. Can you break this down for me?
Yes, I don't watch television, and I was very unaware of what this show was all about. So I have some sufferings compared to other people. I watch shows and I haven't seen them before, and a lot of other people have, I found out, and some are very popular. And to me, it just looked like for a first time. Would I choose to watch it? I don't watch TV, basically. My wife and I don't. And it's great because they bring cameras into our living room without disturbing us, set it all up, and then we just sit in chairs watching the shows. And in between, we have breaks, and my wife and I, we sit and we talk, and it's good to have somebody to share ideas about. What do you think about that and this and that? And we don't always agree 100% on it.
So I imagine the disagreements is where some comedy comes from in the Woz household.
Oh, no, we're perfect. We're so good about disagreements. I might like a show, my wife would say, oh, I would never watch that. It scares me or something. Little minor things, not like disagreements on policy or something like that.
But what are you watching though? What are the shows that are coming up on this show that we'll be able to watch?
We watched a nature show about, had elephants and things like that. And my wife and I, being kind of scientific, she's a biologist, love that kind of a show. We watched the Masked Singers or whatever, Masked Singer. And I couldn't understand it. I was thinking about, would you want to be in an audience or go to see that kind of a concert? And then I thought later about it after we were done taping that if it was on TV, yeah, it is kind of funny. It's kind of a nice, if you need a break and you need some smiles. So that one was one. We watched RuPaul, and my wife and I are really favorable towards that whole community because I got to, after Dancing with the Stars, I went to a show in San Francisco and I was a judge of Dancing with the Drag Queen Stars.
Wow.
Something, and it's kind of, they're just some of our favorite people anyway. And my wife likes it more for all the makeup stuff, so guys I guess aren't into that one as much. And we've watched a coronavirus news feed, very lightweight, very short, and we watched a movie, and a movie that like almost everyone would know, Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, and boy, it's so far back. When things go back decades, your memory of them isn't even that great as it was, but it was a great movie.
Was that the one where they pulled the heart out?
That's the one.
Right. God, jeez.
And we'll give our comments. And sometimes it might be something that it's hard to come up with comments. It's a lot of hours. Every taping might be up to 5 hours, and we have to comment on several shows. Right. And what do you think of saying? And you feel like, okay, you don't always have a lot to say. So it's actually hard work. And it basically, for us, it's equivalent of being just for free.
Was it easier or harder than an Apple board meeting in 1980?
I'm telling you the truth. I don't like business, and I don't go on boards, and I'm just a technologist, and I love having a laboratory to invent new things. And it was much, I'd say, I don't know. It's not harder or easier. I can't really say because it's apples and oranges. It's more like it's more awkward for me. And I normally just sit through any TV shows and I stay quiet. I'm silent. I'm not a big outspoken social person. So this is becoming, a gradual change to, have things to say. But one thing is, I will not say all nice things about some show I'm watching. Oh no.
You'll be honest.
Only honest feelings, What is this about, Why they have a sort of a setup? Look what they did there. I just, because that's all that has real meaning to me. That's what has real meaning.
Are you wearing sweatpants when you're relaxing, watching TV?
Oh no, much easier than that. I just pop on shorts and a shirt almost through this whole coronavirus. It's kind of nice. Pop on shorts, shirts. Don't even shower a lot of days. I do for the show. But we just get to stay at home, two of us, and our 4 dogs. We have our dogs climbing our laps. So,
Right.
so it's really easy. I wanted to like Zoom bomb this conference with you, but my wife said I had to put a shirt on.
Right. So you were willing to be upper torso naked for this interview?
Not I. That's a total joke. Yeah.
That'll be a great moment in history. And also in terms of snacking, are you a snacker watching television?
Almost always when I'm watching television, like a movie of our own choice or a TV show or something, usually it's a movie during coronavirus, about once a night, we pop on a DVD, actually, some of my favorite movies of all time that I collected, and we'll sit back and watch, and usually snack, have a few crackers, like, I don't want to say any particular kind, but a few little crackers and a drink. And during Celebrity Watch, though, no, we just have a drink handy in case your throat gets dry.
Right.
You have to speak. It's very different. They brought in all this great equipment, put it in our living room by our TV. And at first, they hooked up the TV like a normal method, and it came through so slow. The movie they were trying to play to our TV didn't work. Yeah. And I knew the reason. It had to do with a little complicated setup between an AV receiver and a TV and settings on both. So I told them next time, come plug it right in here over by the AV receiver.
I love that so Steve Wozniak, is still a great troubleshooter.
Well, I know my system and they don't. They're TV people and they could understand it if they'd gone through what I did. And a lot of the setups were not even done totally by myself, but it had a little surprise for us, and we finally got it working, and it's really enjoyable. I'm thinking they must be showing the same TV show and have a bunch of different groups of celebrities. Probably a lot more come from the Hollywood or entertainment industry than myself, and probably have us all giving little comments that aren't necessarily all identical. I'm sure it's going to be fun. I've heard the show is in other countries and very popular, so that's it. I normally would have said no instantly when I was asked to do this. I something popular, television, forget it, but the invitation came from the right person, somebody I admired very much, who was a producer and Dancing with the Stars, and very few people I would do that for.
Well, so, they're lucky to have you.
Well, like Dancing with the Stars, dive in, and you're going to learn how to swim.
So, all right. So it's been a pretty wild year for you. Do you still think you might have been patient zero to the United States for COVID-19?
My wife and I actually believe very strongly that we could have been one of the early patient zeros, because at one point we went back 2 months before any announcements, any idea that there was somebody with that disease in this country. Now they've worked it back and back and back to saying it was being community spread in January. We brought it, what we had, January 4th. And I've even had email from people that are sure they had it in December, maybe in Europe, and then got tested and were positive on the antibodies. We had one antibody test that came out negative, actually, but we still believe there are different strains and this and that, and we're looking much deeper into it because our symptoms were so identical. And they tested my wife in by January. We came back Jan 4th with it from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
They tested her on Jan 12, the night of Jan 12, the morning of the 13th. They tested for like 8 hours for every single disease they could test for. None showed up, so it was nothing known in America. And who knows what else was going on. That's severe. I mean, it wiped out our entire January. February got better. And then March was like a relapse. We started having trouble breathing and coughing again. And I don't know, there's strange things that are not answered. A lot of mystery still. And
how do you feel as a man of science in terms of the world?
Oh, evolution is natural, and I will learn to comment better on TV shows. As far as what's coming, we always knew that there were epidemics and pandemics and things like HIV that were treated very seriously, and we didn't pay enough attention to what a real pandemic can be, like the what they call the Spanish flu, or plagues before that. And now we have something to base it on, and and I think there were a lot of things that were done in different countries that were good, and some things that were bad. I think our country did a lot of bad ones, but I would never, ever, I don't think anyone would say an epidemic that comes out of nowhere that you didn't expect, the average person, you can't blame government for, its mistakes, as long as it's trying to do what seems right at the time. That's about all you can do. And yet the countries that were close to SARS, like Taiwan, they just instantly shut everything down and had much less suffering. But see, they were more aware of it emotionally. We didn't have the emotion. We had some knowledge, things we've read in books, but it doesn't strike you when you don't see people around you dropping. But since there was no testing in like the month of January, when Janet and I had it, there could have been 100,000 people here with it, because we flew in from Hong Kong coughing on an airplane, and other people on the plane were coughing. There could have been so many people with it going around, but just being identified, oh, this person had pneumonia, this person had, some heart problem, this person had a stroke, who knows?
Well, it's interesting you say emotion, which is nice that you're a man of technology and science, but emotion still plays a huge part in evolution, I guess.
Well, you learn a lot from emotion. For example, if you ride motorcycles, I rode motorcycles for 10 years, and I always wore it like a t-shirt normally and nothing more, because everybody said, oh, you better wear a coat. Well, they had gone down and felt the emotion of pain, and emotion teaches you an awful lot. And, other than that, all you can do is be scientifically careful.
That's brilliant news. I keep thinking of the emotions you must have watching this, on this show, Celebrity, watch party. Is there a moment where you get emotional in this show?
Usually, the biggest emotion I show watching TV shows is usually laughing out loud. If a joke is really good, I make up jokes all the time and pass them around, and
right.
and it has to be just so clever, unexpected, and hit you the right way. So I'm not experiencing a lot of that on this episode, but it's just sort of like, I'm seeing something different I haven't seen before, and I'll be there on TV just looking like this, really intense, when I'm saying, what is going on here? What's next going to happen?
Well, Rob Lowe's also on this show. You and Rob Lowe similar in any ways?
I have no idea. First of all, I don't know celebrities, and part of the reason is I have a disease called prosopagnosia, where I cannot recognize faces. I could be in a restaurant with Rob Lowe or any famous celebrity. Wow. I wouldn't know who they are, unless it goes back to before 1981 when I had an airplane crash. If it goes back before then, I'll spot somebody. Oh, I know that person.
Wow, Woz. So if I see you down the street and go, hey, Woz, nice interview, you'll go,
I will not recognize you. 1 in 50 people have this disease. I have trouble recognizing my wife. I've made mistakes both directions, thinking somebody else was she, or that she was, that wasn't really her,
Right. Wow. Good job, Woz.
But it's an interesting disease. 1 in 50 people have it. Brad Pitt came out, acknowledging that he had it. And I run into other people that realize that that's what they have everywhere they go. And often your spouse is saying, here's who's coming up. Be ready. Here's the name.
Have you told your wife that you and Brad Pitt have something in common then?
My wife's very familiar with this. Oh, she's my wife. She knows I have it so deeply. And, when we go places, she might say, that's John so-and-so. You met him here. And oh.
Did you ever do that to Steve Jobs?
I didn't have prosopagnosia when I really knew Steve Jobs. I knew him after, so I would recognize his face even anywhere. Not that, and plus, if it's publicized over and over, day after day after day, prosopagnosia isn't absolute. You can't recognize somebody. It's if you just don't do it well.
Well, I'm going to ask a big, broad life question. Did you ever think, when you were putting together those boards in Jobs's parents' garage, that it would lead to you becoming a reality TV star? Was
sure. I mean, really, our intent was to make, disabled people like a blind person equal to a sighted person. And everywhere you go, people are walking on the sidewalk just staring at their phones, and they're as blind as the real blind people. So we succeeded. And I'm very thankful, though. I'm very thankful that computers and the internet and smartphones and everything came along, video and cameras built in, to make today's coronavirus life much more possible and tolerable.
So, well done. You're a great dancer on television. Now you're a great sitting on a couch and watching shows with your missus man on television as well. It's going to be...
Frankly, I'm still scared. There's a lot to go. And, for me, I often do public speaking, and I give one speech for an hour and make more than the show does. So this is a lot of hours. It's going to be a lot of hours. Let's see. 10 hours a week, and that's for one show. That's for one show that goes on 10 hours for my wife and I to put in, and then there's the next week, and the next week, and the next week.
Next week. Have you watched Last Dance yet with Michael Jordan, the documentary series?
They've been playing parts of that for us, and it's so interesting because they started out with Dennis Rodman so far, and he was I explained he was a hero of mine, even for kicking a reporter on the field. And I had season tickets to basketball back in those days. I went into some depth. I guess I shouldn't be spilling beans right here. But no, I'm looking very much forward to it. And I've read a little bit more about Last Dance from online news feeds that just came my way by accident. So,
and you met Dennis Rodman?
I met a number of basketball players. I even did amazing things like going over to their other countries and helping them set up poverty schools for poor people on the streets and things like that, and putting in computers. I did meet Chow Ming once, and I forget why. There was actually a reason behind it, though.
Well, he's lucky that you remembered him.
I don't think I'd recognize his face, but certainly his appearance.
Well, Woz, you're a great man. In parting words, can you give us a bit of advice? Give us a comment on the world. Are we going to be all right, Woz?
Oh, of course we are. My gosh. You know what? These things come and they go and they're past us. And when you look way up ahead of time, we'll just get back to everything. We've got all of our knowledge and facilities to build on from there. So we'll get right back to where we were. I'm not worried like in the economic sense. As far as a living sense, I think it's going to really be a push towards video conferences versus live events. I think we're going to do that more and more. And a lot of things we've changed our life, just shopping, eating at home more than restaurants. I know my wife and I, we're going to a lot of what we like right now, we want to change and go on that way forever.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I look forward to, watching you watch television on a couch in shorts and a t-shirt with the missus.
I don't know if I'll have the nerve to watch myself. Okay.
Thanks, mate. You're a wonderful man. Thank you.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, see you, Woz. Yeah. Thanks,
Bye.
girls.